Hi trainers, I'm Teeds, this is Nuts, and today I'll be once again judging, politely, how toxic your main is in Pokemon Unite. We have so many new Pokemon now that have joined the roster, and I don't know, I feel like some Pokemon have really just found the light, have become one with themselves, and have become a better person, while others may have just fell down just a little bit in the current circumstances. Quick disclaimer, I'm not saying every main is like this, just the ones I see in my game, my experience, my opinion, and how they're just generally seen by the audience. This is all for good fun. Look, I'm a Gengar main, right? And I would say Gengar mains can be pretty toxic. But does this face look like a toxic person to you? If you answered yes, then you're wrong. And I know this because I'm always right, no matter what. A toxic person would just let you believe that you're right, and I'm not toxic, so yeah, you're wrong. I'm kidding. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for even saying that. Was that toxic? I don't know. I literally had to Google mean things to say to someone, and this just came up, okay? For the question of the day, who in your opinion is the most toxic main in Pokemon Unite? I'd love to read your answers down below. Alright, so these are my tears because I'm crying. So like you have just really sucked the life out of me. For the tiers, we have AFK sit in base after dying once because they just can't handle any little negative thing that comes into their life. These mains are likely to just surrender vote as soon as it's up and spam it every single time. They will just sit in base and not do a thing. They're like, well, my team let me die, so I'm just gonna sit in base and wait until the game is over. It is really horrible. For the second tier, we have the Thanks Gamer. Now, you trainers are probably very familiar with the Thanks Gamer. The Thanks Gamer will blame you for every single thing gone wrong to them in the game. Like, how dare you lose Rayquaza while I'm farming near our base? How could you not defend Rayquaza while I'm farming? And then we have this.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be.
Now these mains, it depends on the circumstances. If you tick them off, they get ticked off. But as long as you're doing well, and depending on the day and how they feel, maybe they just will let it go. Then we have the chill. These people, they're just chilling. They don't really care how the game goes. They're not really fussed about it, to be honest. They're the type to sit at the beach with their sunnies on. Probably not even put on sunscreen, to be honest, even though they should. You should wear sunscreen when you're in the sun. But that's just how chill they are. They're so chill that they're not even wearing sunscreen. And then the last one, we have the would sacrifice themselves for you. These mains, they will do anything to make sure that you are well, happy, moisturized, unbothered. They will tie your shoelaces for you. They will give you the last bite. These mains, I wish we had more of them. Alright, let's jump into it. Feel free to subscribe to the bell to be notified for more fun tier lists just like this one. First, we have Venusaur. You know, back in the day when Venusaur was OP, I would say Venusaur was the type to AFK sit in base after dying once. But Venusaur has really flipped the coin. Honestly, Venusaurs are just happy to be here. Venusaur mains are just happy to be in the game, doing the things that they're doing, which is taking out the whole team, which I guess you can see is pretty toxic in itself. But I would say generally they're just sometimes good, sometimes maybe. Venusaur mains, I just feel like they really found the light, you know? Now, as a Gengar main, I know exactly where Gengars belong, and that is AFK sit in base after dying once because I would 100% do that. I'm kidding. Please don't cancel me. I'm not gonna do that. I've never done that. I haven't done that. The more I explain it, the more it sounds like a lie, but I swear I'm telling the truth, okay? I honestly think Gengar mains, I don't find them to be like extremely toxic, but I don't find them to be wholesome either. I feel like they're pretty selfish mains, if that makes sense. You know, you want to get to your power spike, you want to do anything to get there. I would say they're sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe, you know, I think they're in the middle tier in my opinion. Mr. Mime, I'm sorry, but it's 100% AFK sit in your base after dying once. Before the buff, after the nerf, Mr. Mime is I just find the Mr. Mime mains in my game pretty toxic. I mean, look at that smile. Anyone who plays Pokemon Unite smiling like that, it's a little bit scary, you know? Like, it's because they have nothing left to lose. They smile while taking out their enemies. That's not normal. When I take out my enemy, okay, well, I do kind of smile. Maybe we're just all a little bit Mr. Mime inside. Snorlax, I'm not gonna lie, I think Snorlax is kind of a Thanks Gamer, but listen, hear me out. You know why Snorlax is bold? Because he is so stressed from all the hair that he's lost from trying to help his teammates. Snorlax is so quick to literally block out any opinion that it doesn't agree with. That play that you just made, he's going to block you out. He's gonna press that block button. You are gone from Snorlax. Once you do something that Snorlax doesn't like, they're not going to play with you anymore. They're going to find a different teammate. They're the type to leave the lane when you do bad in your lane. That's what Snorlax does. Alright, Gardevoir. So Gardevoir's new to this tier list. Gardevoir wasn't released yet. So all you Gardevoir mains, honestly, in my honest opinion, I think you're pretty chill. I think Gardevoir mains are chill. And honestly, I would be too, because Gardevoir mains have such long range and they can just chill at the back. Gardevoir mains are independent. They can take care of themselves. They're chilling. They have very high self-esteem. Absol mains, I would say, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe bad. Middle tier, honestly. I think Absol mains can be a bit of a coin flip. They can be sometimes pretty toxic, sometimes they're not toxic. If somebody not an Absol main, the Absol main would just focus them, take them out. Literally, if you are an attacker, do not mess with an Absol main. Garchomp. Garchomp would literally sacrifice themselves for you, but not on purpose. They would just die. Okay, listen, there are some really insanely Garchomp mains, but the majority of Garchomp players that I do see in my games, unfortunately, struggle a little bit with Garchomp. And even though it is better than it was before, it still struggled. I would say though, in general, I would be like, it's sometimes maybe, it's like, I think it's middle tier. I think it's a bit of a coin flip as well, depending on the day, depending on what Garchomp main you have. It could be really... It's really half-half there. Garchomp is a very popular Pokemon, so a lot of new players do tend to play Garchomp, which probably doesn't represent the mains very well. I would say there are some Garchomp mains are just chilling as Gibbles, minding their own business, doing their own thing. Lucario, I'm sorry, but I think Lucario mains kind of give me the vibes of AFK sit-in base after dying once, because Lucario mains are so independent, they don't need to play with a team. They have everything they need. They got mobility, they got damage, they've got secure. They literally do not need us. They don't need us. And sometimes that can be rough on the team, you know, because sometimes we need a Lucario that will cooperate. But some Lucario mains, they will leave you unseen. Crustle mains. Crustle mains, I will say, they actually, I don't think I've ever seen actually, no, I have. I have seen one Crustle main AFK in base once. But generally, I think they would be a thanks gamer, because Crustle mains don't really care if they lose. They're just there to do their thing. You know what I mean? To do the thing where they crush you into their wall. The thing where they crit you to death and you're like, how is this guy killing me? He's a defender. Crustle mains aren't here to win. They're just here to ruin your lives. Greninja. Greninja is an AFK sit in your base. I'm sorry. Greninja mains haven't really... They haven't really changed much. I think, honestly, they are between... It's a bit of both. It's the thanks game and the AFK sit and bait. You know what? It's a classic to see a Froakie spamming thanks. Talonflame mains. I would say Talonflames right now, I think they're just a bit of a coin flip. Sometimes they cooperate, sometimes they don't. You know what? They just want to be in the sky, fly. If they're using fly though, I would say they're toxic, because that's really mean. You're looking down on me. That's toxic. But I would say generally, Talonflame is pretty much of a coin flip. Talonflame mains are just happy to be here. They're just happy to be playing, but you can tick them off. Charizard mains are chill, okay? They're real chill. But the thing is, they give the team trauma. They give the team trust issues. The problem is when somebody picks a Charizard, they're like, is this a good Charizard or a bad Charizard? And then they will judge you by the battle item that you've chosen. If you've chosen Potion, they're going to judge you. But if you choose anything else that's not Potion, they'll be like, oh, this Charizard main is probably pretty alright. But I've experienced the opposite. I've actually had more games where I had a Charizard use Potion and they did really well, and then a Charizard who doesn't use Potion not do as well. So I would say it just really depends, but I would say the main is chill, but they just don't make the team very chill. Zeraora. I would say Zeraora is a thanks gamer. I think Zeraora would definitely spam thanks if you take anything. Like, you could be in your lane and you would be doing your own farm, and Zeraora would just be coming and running from like the jungle trying to get to your farm. You last hit your own farm and they would say thanks. I'm not saying every Zeraora main is toxic, but I don't think I've came across... Oh, actually I have. I have one viewer who I know plays Zeraora, who is actually incredibly sweet. But generally, the Zeraora mains that I do come across, they just take me out with that one move. You know that move where they just go up into the air and slash you like 3 times and you can't damage them? That move makes me feel so much rage on the inside. It makes me want to type out an extremely long email to Pokemon Unite to tell them to take that move out of the game, because why can I die to Zero Aura in like 2 shots and I can't do it? You know what? I'm not gonna rant here. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. Cinderace.
You belong with the Greninja.
Let's be real. Cinderace is that one teammate you're likely to see that's hiding in the grass, not contributing to the team, or hiding in the grass, doing the Pokemon farm while your team is like battling it out. Again, not all Cinderace mains, but the Cinderace mains, like the people that you'll generally see, because we gotta remember Cinderace is extremely popular, so you'll see a lot of them that are not doing or representing the way Cinderace mains should be. When you come across that good Cinderace, it's like they deserve a montage, honestly. They deserve to be montaged because they're doing things to the enemy team that is unspeakable, and I feel awful for the enemy team. But then you have that Cinderace who will always just be that score bunny. Or that Cinderace who rocks up to Rayquaza and just evolved into Cinderace. Eldegoss. I'm gonna be real with you, trainers. There are 2 types of Eldegoss mains. We have the ones that will sacrifice themselves for you. But you know why they would sacrifice themselves for you? They would sacrifice themselves for you because they know they can also take out the enemy team along with it. They're like, I will save you and I don't need to try. I will just you'll guaranteed be saved. Saving you is actually just extra in what I'm about to do to the enemy team. That's Eldegoss. Technically, to the enemy team, very toxic, but to the team, that when you have an Eldegoss, it is just would sacrifice themselves for you. Cramorant is definitely chill. Cramorant's just chilling. They don't care. They're just trying to get that Pikachu. You know what I mean? Very toxic to the enemy team. They're just juking, diving, everything. They have mechanical skills that I cannot comprehend. They have the macro/micro skills that are just insane. Cramorant mains really know what they're doing. When you have a Cramorant on your team, it is extremely likely that they're going to be top damage, that they're going to be top KOs, that they know what they're doing. They're gonna secure that. I cannot even stress how crazy Cramorant mains are. They're rare, but they're deadly. Blastoise. I would say they're chill. You know what? I used to think they were a coin flip, but a lot of the Blastoise mains that I see these days are very, very chill. They're just chilling, doing their thing. They're just trying to get to Blastoise. I see a lot of them struggle to get to Blastoise at the moment, but they just want to be a
Helicopter.
Pikachu. I'm not gonna lie, I've been coming across a lot of toxic Pikachu mains. What's that all about, huh? How could you be this cute toxic little mouse? What's that about? I've just been seeing a ton of them lately, and I wanna understand why. What happened? Who hurt you? Why are you being... I got yelled at by a Pikachu not that long ago. I wasn't recording, I was just playing games. This wasn't a quick match, I think. I don't 100% remember. But Pikachu mains, what's that about? Maybe it's a quick play Pikachu main. Maybe they're toxic. I don't know. A lot of the time I just see them doing their own thing. Like they don't even want to hang out. They just want to be alone. Maybe just really introverted. The Fable mains, they would sacrifice themselves for you. They don't care. Yes, they were struggling extremely hard before the nerf. They were questioning why they were playing Clefable, but they did not deter. They said, I am going to stick to this main. I'm going to make it work. And then lo and behold, the buff came and Clefable mains thrived. They're happy. They're happy no matter where they are. They're just always smiling and they always just want to be a nightmare for the enemy team. For you trainers. Ninetales. Oh, I'm still with the same opinion. Ninetales mains are so chill. Ninetale players, they're so chill, and this is not even a pun, but they're just so chill. They either know exactly what they're doing or they have no idea what they're doing. I'm gonna be honest. Every time I see a Ninetales, it's either a Ninetales that knows exactly what they're doing insane for the team, or it's a Ninetales that doesn't really know what's going on. It's funny. It's funny to watch. Wigglytuff mains, they're not AFK sit in your base after once, but they're not the type to sacrifice themselves for you, to be honest. I would say that they don't thank spam. Generally, I would say Wigglytuffs don't thank spam, but the things that they do to enemy team can be seen as extremely toxic. They will sing to you, slap you, do all these things to you while smiling. Yeah, that lullaby they sing to you, it's not a good one. It may sound nice, but no, it's full of very toxic things. Slowbro, they would sacrifice themselves for you. Look at that guy would sacrifice themselves for you. He will literally be dying with that smile on his face. He'd be like, I'm just happy that I saved my friend. He wouldn't call you his teammate. He would call you his friend. That is a slow bro mate. Oh god, here come the tears again. Machamp. Machamp would flip you off with all 4 hands. I would say they're actually really chill. Behind all that muscle is a very soft, lovable guy. Don't judge him on the outside. Sure, he looks tough. Sure, he looks like he would crush you with no amount of effort. But Machamps, they just want to be loved. They're just happy to hang out with the team. They're just happy to be fighting, punching. They're just here. They're just proud of you, honestly. Machamp mains, they're proud of you. They're that guy who will give you life quotes. Because remember, he once started as a little guy, a little Machop. But now look at him. He grew 2 more arms and has lots of biceps and abs. So you too could be that. Maybe just minus like the extra 2 arms. Okay, I'm not very good at quotes. Blissey deserves its own tier, but they would sacrifice them. You guys already know how I feel about Blissey mains. Blissey mains would sacrifice themselves for you, but I will say this. I have came across some pretty spicy Blissey mains in my current games. They're pretty spicy. So spicy that I would say they can be in the chill tier. That's a lot for Blissey mains. But generally they would sacrifice themselves for you. They will literally run after you. Blissey mains are very smart, okay? They're very, very smart. So when they're protecting someone, right, you could be the 2 left in the game. The rest of your teammates have been KO'd, but you and that 1 person, you are pocket healing now. Hey, I think we should run into the enemy team and fight them all. Just us 2. We can do it. And you would be like, I don't think that's a good idea. But as you say that, they would already be running into the enemy team fighting them. And you know what you would do? You know what Blissey mains would do? They would run after them, despite knowing it's a bad idea. And then they would both be KO'd. Sometimes they can actually pull it off, but they would both be KO'd and Blissey wouldn't even hold the grudge. They wouldn't care. They're just happy that they tried to heal their teammate. Mamoswine mains are so toxic. As a Gengar main, you are the bane of my existence. Actually, you know what? Not even as a Gengar main, as anyone I play. What that mouth do? It freezes you all the time, constantly. There is no break. There is no break. Look, they wouldn't AFK incident base. You know why? Because Mamoswines have really strong mentals. Even if the game is losing, they don't care. They find joy in seeing that you cannot do anything. They know that crowd control is king. And in this game, they're God. Sylveon mains. I would say Sylveon mains are very chill. They're just chilling. Gone are the days where they would one-shot Pokemon. It was pretty toxic. It only lasted for like 2 days. Sylveon mains, I would say, generally just have a lot of fun. They're having a ton of fun. They're here to have a lot of fun. They enjoy playing their main so much. It's just so fun. Greedent mains. So toxic. You know what Greedent mains are? They won't AFK sit in base after dying once. They would AFK sit in the enemy base after dying once. Greedent mains are the king of invading. It is scary. It's horrifying. I don't like it. It makes me tilted. Decidueye. Honestly, Decidueye mains, I would say, are actually really chill. But considering how much crap they have to put up with, I'm actually so impressed that they're not an AFK sit-in base after dying once. I have came across a couple Decidueyes who have done that. Honestly, can't even blame them because sometimes it's just so rough because Decidueye is just hands down the squishiest Pokemon in the game and really relies on a good team setup as well. But I would say generally Decidueye mains are just pretty chill these days. Like, they kind of just accept that if this game is not going well for them, they just accept it. They're like, yep, that's what it is. Dragonite players. So Dragonite mains, I would say sometimes maybe good. Sometimes it's just a bit of a coin flip with Dragonite players these days. I don't know. They're just a little bit coin flippy, you know? I guess they just kind of missed the times where they were like super meta. Like I'm talking about the super meta time. I come across quite a mixed bag with Dragonite mains. Sometimes they're really nice. Sometimes they're just not very nice. Serena mains, a lot of the Serena mains I come across are just really chill. Serena mains just know that they're strong. They don't even mind if they don't have a Blissey. They don't care. They just kickity kick. That's all they care about. They just want to kick. Serena mains just don't have a problem with getting to Serena. They just feel that secure in their laning phase that they're fine. They feel fine with their damage. They're just happy, cool, calm, collected. Serena mains, honestly, impose such intimidating energy. When you go against a Serena main, you just feel extremely intimidated. Trevenant mains. I would say Trevenant mains are chill. Trevenant mains are in their own game. They are in their own mindset. They are in their own league. They know what they can do, know what they can't do. Trevenant mains are so chill because they're too busy laughing. They're too busy laughing at you trying to take them out. You're using all your best moves on Trevenant, and you know what Trevenant feels? It's like he's being tickled by a feather. He's just too busy laughing. He has no time. He does not feel a thing. He's just laughing. Aegis slash mains, I'm sorry, but Aegis slash mains, I've came across so many toxic Aegis slash mains, and if I see another Aegis slash main AFK in my base because they lost that one fight, I will lose it. I will lose it. There are some really good Aegis slash mains where they just literally make you question why you play Pokemon Unite, but then there are those ones that literally also make you question why you play Pokemon Unite because they AFK. They've given up. They will spam surrender. They will also say thanks. Hooper mains would sacrifice themselves for you. They will run into all the enemies just to get a portal out for the team. Even if they die doing so, they will look at the health of their allies, then look at the cooldown of their portal. In their head, they're just constantly thinking, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. As soon as this portal is off cooldown, I am bringing you back to base and I'm going to heal you. Don't worry. Don't you worry, buddy. I will get you healed. That's the Hooper mindset. Durulodon. I would say Durulodon right now, a little bit toxic. I'm sorry, Durulodon mains, but I've had some bad experiences these days and I've been thanked by some Durulodon mains. And I don't know what I did. Well, that's the thing with thanks, right? You didn't do anything wrong. But Durulodon mains are also just wreaking havoc. They take social distancing to a whole level. You know, generally, back when you had to social distance, and if you didn't, at least here, you would get fined, right? But with Durulodon, if you don't social distance, he would just take you out. He would just unalive your Pokemon. It's not very nice. Durulodon mains, no. When they want the space, they can have the space. Durulodon mains, no. That they can take out enemies so quick. They don't feel scared about this. Azumarill. So Azumarill mains, I would say sometimes may be good. The middle tier, because Azumarill mains are unpredictable. They can switch up so quickly. Like maybe at the first half of the game, they might think, oh, this player is doing bad. I'm not happy about this. And they start being a bit toxic. But then they can switch up. If you start doing good, they're like, yes, you are worthy. I will now be nice to you. That's at least my experience. This is Azumarill main I had a game with. I was doing pretty bad. He wanted nothing to do with me, but as soon as I started doing good, he just started following me. Espeon mains, I would say, are in the middle. And maybe not attitude-wise. I actually don't come across a lot of like attitude-heavy Espeon mains, but they will literally come up to you and just unite. They will unite move for anything. They don't care if there's 2 minutes left. They don't care if Rayquaza is coming up soon. They will unite move you. The unite move in itself of Espeon just feels incredibly toxic, to be honest, and I'm gonna take personal offense to it. Delphox mains are thanks gamers. Again, might just be talking from how they play. Sometimes people can just be toxic with how they play. Okay, they don't even have to say anything or do anything, but the fact that Delphox can chase you and take you out, the cooldowns are just insane. Delphox mains, they're very confident. They are very confident players with extremely good mechanical skills. It's not easy playing ping pong Delphox. No, it's not easy. These players, you want to be very, very careful around them. You want to be aware where they are. If they make one mistake, it is really hard for them. Glaceon mains. You know what? I think Glaceon mains kind of skyrocketed a little bit into the middle tier. So Glaceon mains weren't on my previous tier list, but I used to see them as very chill. However, Glaceon mains, there are a ton of them now, and it's a very, very mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get with a Glaceon main. Glaceons are just assassins, honestly. They're like the speedster of attackers. They can take out everyone so quick. Sometimes they might ignore the objectives just to go for that KO, because Glaceon mains, they're like the type to shoot lasers out of their eyes. They're very aggressive. Glaceon mains are not passive players. Buzzwole players are literally, I would say, would sacrifice themselves for you. I've had so many Buzzwole players run back into the fights just to save me, which is incredibly sweet. I think Buzzwole players, at least the mains that I have came across, they just want to protect you. They're not even your protector, but they want to protect you. They want to shield you away in those big, gigantic chest muscles. Tyranitar mains. Honestly, I think Tyranitar mains are pretty... Oh, this is hard. I feel like it's a mixture of chill and AFK sit in base. Most of the Tyranitar mains I come across are chill. Tyranitar mains don't even know that they're strong. Tyranitar mains just play Tyranitar because they love Tyranitar, they love the playstyle, and they don't even know how powerful and extremely strong they are. Mew is the type of Pokemon that's not toxic in terms of attitude, but very toxic with how they play. You gotta be toxic knowing what you're doing to the enemy team, knowing they can steal all the farm, knowing they can go invisible, knowing that you can make the enemies chase you for awful amounts of time. Mew players, you have done something to me. You have given me an experience in Pokemon Unite that I never thought was possible. You gave me a new version of Tilt. Mew players don't know that they're doing this though. They don't know that. They just love the playstyle. Mew is very unique, very hard Pokemon to play. Mew mains are just a little bit oblivious to the chaos that ensues when they play Mew. Scyther and Sizzle. I would say Scyther and Sizzle, it is a mixed bag. It can be quite a mixed bag. So I actually got yelled at by a Sizzle main in my comment section. I don't remember for what, but they yelled at me for something about Sizzle because I think I placed it low on a tier list or something, and they were not very happy with me. They called me a lot of mean things. So I don't see a lot of Sizzle mains. I generally see more Scyther mains. Scyther mains, their playstyle's insanely toxic, to be honest. Sizzle mains don't see that much, but I would say they're very mixed. Dodrio mains. I think Dodrio mains is also a mixed bag. You come across really toxic ones. You also come across really nice ones who are just doing Dodrio things. Playstyle wise, pretty toxic in my opinion. But attitude wise, it really depends. It's a mixed bag. Dodrio mains just want to be a little mosquito in your life. They just want to be a little fly. A fly that you can never spot, never take out. They're a little bit greedy. I will say a little bit greedy. They just want to take all your Aeos energy. They have 3 heads, which means they have 3 hearts. Which means they have a lot of love to give. I just made that up. Sableye mains. Zoroark mains. So Zoroark, I would say Zoroark mains is a mixed bag. I have came across some pretty toxic Zoroark mains, but I've also come across Zoroark mains that just keep to their own. They're just chilling. They're just here to take out as many Pokemon as they can. Zoroark mains, literally you will not see them most of the time. Don't worry about it. You will forget that you have a Zoroark main because they will all of a sudden appear. Sometimes they confuse you even though they're on your team because they will be in their illusion. Then all of a sudden they pop out, get a Penta, and then you're just like, what just happened? We had a Zoroark. They're very good at being stealthy. They're very good at being sneaky. They don't want to be noticed. They don't want to be noticed because that's their weakness. Urshifu mains. I would say Urshifu mains are chill. I can't tell the difference between them. I'm not gonna lie. I'd never memorized it. But I would say they're pretty chill. Urshifu mains are so strong. They don't need to be toxic. There's no tilt because they're fine. Urshifus are the type of players who read those books. The Art of War. That's what they read. Dragapult mains are literally in their own little party. They're just dancing around enemies. They just love the movement of Dragapult. The movement of Dragapult just feels so fluid. It feels so satisfying. These players are the type of players to watch the most satisfying TikTok / short / videos / clips you've ever seen. God, there are so many platforms. Comfy mains. I would say comfy mains. I would understand if you AFK sit in base after dying once, to be honest. But they would sacrifice themselves for you. Kind of. Depends. Maybe they're chill. Honestly, don't know enough about comfy mains to see what they do, but I would say I don't think I've ever played with a comfy on me yet. Oh, I have once maybe. I don't even know. But I think generally they'd be between chill and sacrifice themselves for you. But I do understand why they had to look after themselves, because if I see an ally who was going to run in there and just KO from the enemy team, I will be heading off. So I will be jumping off this train. I will not be taking the quick express to be KO'd by the enemy team. No thank you. As for Gudra and Lapras, right now I will say it is too early to say what these Pokemon will be doing. I think Gudra, like this is just my early thoughts, I think Gudra would be a sacrifice themselves for you, and Lapras would be a thanks gamer, but just in the way that they play, because Lapras is pretty strong in the PTS. Who knows how strong it'll be when it comes to the live client? In your opinion, who is the most toxic main in Pokemon Unite for you? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I always enjoy doing these tier lists for you. Check out my other tier lists that I've done. Pretty good, just as good as this one. Unless you didn't think this was good, then it's better than this one. Alright, thanks for watching, trainers. I'll catch you with the next one.